The best thing that I ever did for myself was learn how to implement healthy habits that not only changed my life, but also gotten me out of some really lazy girl slumps that I find myself getting into from time to time. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 10 healthy habits that have changed my life and that have gotten me out of my lazy girl era and into a more productive, healthier, happier version of myself. Hey guys, my name is Anissa. If you're new here, welcome back to my channel. If you're someone who wants to exit your lazy girl era, make sure you stay tuned. Without further ado, let's get right into today's video. Okay, so the first habit that changed my life is having a stable morning routine. You guys probably already heard this before, but honestly, like having a morning routine just sets the entire mood and the entire trajectory of your entire day. So it's extremely important. For me, I made a boundary with myself not to jump on my phone first thing in the morning. So the first hour of the day, so when I first wake up, I don't go on my phone for like the first hour because my brain is still trying to compute and still trying to register that I'm a human being and that this is real life. So just giving myself time to just register what's going on has been very, very helpful. I normally like to do brain dumps. So with that, I do my morning pages, bring out my journal, and I just journal out whatever going on with this little brain. And I also do a little bit of like reading. And also a big thing is just getting some sunlight first thing in the morning because that sets my circadian rhythm. So that way I know when my body needs sleep or when my body wants to wake up. So it's very, very helpful for that. Sometimes I do like meditation. I don't always do it, but whenever I remember to, that's when I do it. So meditation, finding gratitude, getting some sunlight. These are all beneficial things that I feel like have changed my life. And whenever I'm in a very like depressive slump or lazy girl era, I feel like getting my morning routine in check has definitely helped me get out of that lazy girl era. The next healthy habit that I incorporated is moving my body. For me, I do cycle syncing, and I'll share more of that in detail later on in this video. But for me, it depends on what my body needs for that day. So I don't always do extreme heavy weightlifting. Sometimes I just go for a walk, or I'll do like some yoga or some stretching, things like that. Just moving my body helps me feel grounded, and it helps me get more out of my head and more into my body. So incorporating some type of movement has been beneficial. Just honestly, like moving my body has honestly like saved my mental health, I'm being honest. So whenever I'm in my lazy girl era, I always ask myself, like, have I moved my body today? And that's usually a key indicator of why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling. The next habit that has helped me get out of my lazy girl era is planning out my week. So for me, I'm someone that I need everything planned down to the T for myself, because if I can't just like say that I'm gonna do something and actually expect myself to do it. So having a routine like every Sunday where I sit down and I plan my entire week and my entire days, that way I know exactly what to expect from certain days, has honestly helped my life so much. I feel like when you kind of go with your days without planning things out, first of all, it's a lot of mental junk in your brain whenever you just waiting to just think and remember for yourself. So for me, my thoughts are already kind of moving. So having something on paper to where I can refer to every single day to remember like what I need to check off and what I need to complete has saved me so much time and energy. And honestly, it's made me so much more of a productive person overall as well too. When it comes to like goal setting and attaining your goals, it's all about doing the small things and getting better 10% each day. So that for me, that's been very, very helpful as far as being productive and reaching my goals one step at a time. The next habit that has helped me get out of my lazy girl era is watching what I'm consuming as far as food. As you guys know, like our mind, bodies, and spirit, like they're all very connected. So what you feed yourself internally is going to reflect how you feel externally, right? So for me, I'm very intentional about not eating processed foods and eating foods that are good for my gut and good for my body. Because when you take care of your body takes care of you. You know, like your mental health is a lot more better and you're more grounded and you feel like you can show up as your best self. Just having food that I'm eating that I'm being intentional about, so that doesn't raise my cortisol to be super, super high throughout the day, because that's a really big thing, especially if you're a woman watching this. Like our hormones play such a big part in how we feel as far as like our energy goes, how productive we can be, how tired we are. It takes like a lot more effort on our part to like understand everything. I can go more in depth of what I've learned so far as like health and wellness. Food is such a big thing to where it's like when you eat so much junk, like your body's going to feel it. You're going to feel sluggish. You're going to feel tired. So making sure that I'm being intentional about what I'm consuming has overall helped me remember to eat food good for my gut, good for my brain, good for my body, and just become more of a healthier person as well too. The next habit that has helped me get out of my lazy girl era is setting limits for myself when it comes to social media. For me, like social media is such a big part of my life because I do create content. I try to set boundaries to where I know what's healthy for me and what's not healthy for me, because too much social media and too much scrolling can honestly just affect your mental health overall. So for me, like, I set boundaries for myself by taking all the notifications off of my phone. So I don't have notifications for any of my social media apps. So I would have to actually physically go onto the app in order for me to see what's going on. So that's one thing that's really helped me. And a new one that I've kind of incorporated for myself now that I've been more consistent with creating content is posting and ghosting. So pretty much it's like you post and then like you ghost, because sometimes when you post, like, you want to get that dopamine rush of seeing who liked your comment, refreshing your page to see how many subscribers up to your page, and just like constantly being so absorbed with the attention that you're getting from other people and analytics and all that. So for myself, I incorporated this new habit of just posting my content and ghosting, and then picking like one designated day throughout the week to kind of go through and check on comments and like engage with my community. But for myself, I feel like just putting my content out there makes me not overthink it too much and not stress myself out to the point where I'm not really being present. I'm too focused on external validation and whatnot. So yeah, definitely setting those boundaries for myself has done wonders for my mental health. The next habit that has helped change my life is similar to what I spoke about earlier, is having a solid night routine. So similar to a morning routine, when it comes to my night routine, I make sure that I'm getting a decent amount of sleep, because sleep is everything. I make sure to get at least 8 hours of sleep. But another thing that I also do is not have screen time when it's close to my time to like go to sleep. So the hour before I go to sleep, I like to just either read or journal or just listen to music, but just not really being on my phone and having a bunch of screens in my face isn't the best thing to do, because if you have a bunch of different screens in your face and then you're gonna go to sleep thinking about whatever you watch, it's just not overall good for your brain, you guys. Like, it's just, for me, it's just common sense. Yeah, doing all that has helped me just overall become more productive. And I wake up the next day feeling like my best self. So that's what's more important to me than the addiction to my cell phone, if that makes sense. So yeah. The next habit that I have for myself when it comes to getting out of my lazy girl era is to watch what I'm consuming. This is similar to the food, but also media. If I'm watching a bunch of different like TV or movies that are very dark and heavy, that can really affect me as well too, because I'm someone who's very sensitive and I very much absorb the energy of what I'm consuming. So yeah, being careful about what I'm consuming as far as media goes has been very, very life-changing. And social media sometimes can feel so loud, like everyone has so many different opinions, and it can really cloud your judgment because you're taking too much of it. So setting those boundaries for myself to know like not to overly consume content that really isn't too helpful or kind of deters me from what I truly believe has been very good. The next habit that has changed my life is being intentional about creating joy in my life. So this is a big one, because I think when we're young, it's kind of easier to have joy in our life because all we get to do is just play around all day. But when we get older, it's kind of hard to be intentional about that, because life starts to become more just about living and just surviving and making ends meet. But I think for me, like, creating joy for myself has been so important for my overall well-being. So something that my therapist told me is that when it comes to joy, it's all about having something to look forward to, someone to love, and something to do. So doing what you love to do, whether it's activity by yourself, and then having someone to love. So it's like a loved one, spending time with them, a quick phone call, or just spending time with a friend, and then have something to look forward to, because, you know, we want something to aspire to, just like helps with creating and maintaining joy in our lives. And so for me, like I said before, like I literally schedule my time for myself, whether it's like solo dating or it's like an artist date, to where I, you know, work on my scrapbook or work on my hobbies. Hobbies are a big thing for me, because that's the biggest part of my life, is investing into my hobbies and getting to do my hobbies. But I think sometimes life can feel so mundane and sometimes boring when you do the same routine over and over again. So being mindful and intentional about creating time for yourself just to play and just be, and not really have to think too much about anything. But whenever I create little pockets of time for myself to enjoy the things that I want to do, it puts me in a healthier and a happier mindset, to where I can become more productive and show up as more of myself in different places, because I poured into myself first. The next habit that has helped change my life is rewarding myself whenever I complete a task. So this is similar to the book that I talked about a couple of videos back about the book Atomic Habits, and how in order to trick your brain into doing something, you have to kind of reward yourself while you're doing that process. It also kind of goes hand in hand with creating joy in my life. So whenever I have an extremely like hard task to do throughout the day, whether it's through work or content creation or whatever else I have set up for the day, I make sure to always reward myself. It doesn't mean anything like super like big and drastic, but it can be like I get to binge my favorite show after I finish all of my work tasks, or I get to reward myself with my favorite matcha drink, but things like that, where I train my brain to think, okay, like once I complete this task, I get to reward myself after. And therefore it pushes me to work harder and to kind of out like my laziness. That way I know that there's something else waiting for me on the other side of getting whatever I have to get completed. The last habit that I'm going to talk about that has changed my life and helped me get out of my lazy girl era is cycle syncing. So I spoke about this a little bit earlier in the video, but cycle syncing has definitely changed my life, especially if you're a woman. Like I recommend you learning about cycle syncing. Pretty much as women, like we go through different phases in our cycle. So we go through our menstrual cycle, ovulation, luteal phases, follicular, how do you say it? Follicular? You get my point. Yeah, there's different points where we get at our highest energy versus when we're at our lowest energy. So for me, learning about what days are best for me to eat certain foods and tie that into my schedule and into my diet, or learning what exercises are best to do during certain points of my cycle as well too, because in general, like the world was set up to benefit the man, like let's just be honest. So when it comes to like work and things to do, everything is set up on the biology of a man. So I feel like we as women don't have that much information about how to best cater to ourselves and our energy levels when it comes to that time of the month. But for myself, I use like a period tracking app, so that way I know when I can be my most productive, when I can be my most relaxed, or when I can be my most energetic, and vice versa. And now that I know the information, I feel like I cater my work to that, right? So whenever I'm at a more higher energetic level during my cycle, I know that I can do more heavier weightlifting. I can go on runs. I can do more things like that, versus when it's closer to my cycle to where it's like my inner autumn, I know that I should do more exercises that reflect that. It's all about listening to your body and seeing what it needs and catering to that, because again, like our bodies and everything is tied into one. Like when you take care of your body, everything else kind of falls into place. So me prioritizing how I can best show up every single day according to my cycle has definitely helped me as well too. Listening to my body and what it needs in that very moment. You know, I'm not going to push myself to do something that my body physically cannot do, because the biology is right there. My body is telling me that like, hey, we can't do this right now at this time of your phase. So definitely recommend cycle syncing if you haven't did it before or you need more information about it. But it has changed my life dramatically because I allow myself to rest. I come back the next week even more productive and even more energetic than before, because I allow myself to have the necessary rest when it was needed. And now like my body is well rested whenever it comes to the next week, and now I can be a better version of myself because I give myself grace to not push myself when my body is genetically made up to not push myself during that specific phase of my cycle. I think overall just giving yourself grace when grace is needed, not pushing ourselves past our breaking points, and just listening to our bodies and tuning with them to figure out, okay, what can we do and how can we show up and give 100% as we currently can in our moment. And sometimes, honestly, like sometimes my 100% today will look different the next day. You know, it's all about listening to your body and figuring out like what you can do for yourself. If you're going through a lazy girl era, like just let it happen. It will come to pass. Like I've had so many lazy girl eras and I've been able to get myself out of it due to these habits, but just giving myself grace to not overwork myself and push myself to where I'm not ready to, because I think you'll do more harm to yourself when you push yourself. We're human beings, we're not machines. All we can do is just do our best, and that is enough. So that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos of me implementing these different habits, make sure you check out my personal development videos and my other reset routine vlogs. I think those will be very helpful for you guys as well too. But yeah, that is the end of today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for another video next week. Bye.